This is a Kirkendall Barrett presentation, darling.
You can touch it if you want.
Ladies, if you want to meet a man, check your storage closet.
Come on, Kendall. Take off your shirt and go camera shopping at Best Buy.
Good shirtless, not bad shirtless.
Yeah.
Well, it was gratuitous.
Yeah, it was.
I like a good grizzled man sometimes.
A lifetime of Hallmark.
Well, hello, everybody. It is your favorite day of the week. It is time for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we talk about your favorite movies on both Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel and try to make sense of them. I am Les Kirkendall Barrett. Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett. I would say favorite movies is a strong word.
Yeah. Hello, Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett, and hello, Jason Bowers.
Hi, Kurt.
Yeah, audience, you should see the stuff that's being written back and forth. I am shocked.
I'm angry. This movie made me angry.
You picked it.
I know, so I can only be angry at myself.
I almost was going to be angry at you, and right before we started recording, I was like, no, I actually thought this sounded like it was going to be bad when you sent it, and I should have pushed back, and I didn't, so I only have myself to blame for that. But this was...
Yeah.
Like, for me personally, this was the worst movie we have ever watched in this podcast.
The worst.
Wow.
I agree.
Yes.
The worst. Worse than Elevator Girl. Worse than... What were some of the other clunkers we've watched?
There was that Lifetime one with the cult. That one was pretty bad, too.
We did learn something about... when the one was... The woman and her daughter were in a cult. Is that what you're talking about?
I think
yeah.
so,
Well,
yeah.
Well, that was bad, but at least that one, wasn't preachy. That was just
Yeah, this gets a little preachy.
This was super
Don't-
preachy.
But much
Don't
like the
go into a
movie,
cult.
we're trying to figure out who takes responsibility for this. Is it Les?
None of them.
Like, just watch the movie. No. I'm talking like we're actually playing those roles ourselves. Is Les responsible for making us watch this movie, or the?
Well, that's why when I was about to blame Les completely, I took personal responsibility and said, hey, I knew this was a bad idea, and I still signed off on it, and so therefore I am part of the problem. I get it.
I take full
I'll own that.
responsibility.
I'll sleep well tonight.
I will
up on
own
caffeine.
this, and I will take full responsibility.
I don't mind it.
My mistake.
You know what? I'm so loopy because I'm like sleep deprived. I'm going to take some responsibility as well, just because I want to be in solidarity.
Well,
We should mention the movie that we're going to be talking about. It's a Lifetime movie called Drunk, Driving, and 17, which is the...
on paper, I was like, oh my God, that sounds like my youth. But
Not to be confused with the cook, the wife, the thief, and his lover. Sometimes I confuse movies with commas.
And mind you, which we'll get into when we start, when I was 17 and drunk, I was drunk legally because at the time I was living in Madrid, Spain, where I could legally drink at 14. So by 17, I was well into my cups. But,
But this... it was just... It was... You know what it was? It was an after-school special, but they didn't figure out until about halfway through writing it that it's not an after-school special geared towards kids as a cautionary tale about drinking and driving. It was an after-school special geared towards adults about how the role they play in their kids getting drunk and ruining their lives.
They don't get it by now. They're not going to get it from this movie.
And here's the deal, and I'll go, and we'll get into this too. So growing up the way that I grew up, right, my husband and I shared this, are in the process of adopting. I know for goddamn sure and I'm very, when it comes to a parent, I think I'm kind of, permissive and stuff. I would never do that. No. That's just dumb.
No, nobody with any sense of responsibility would do that. That's unbelievably irresponsible and just stupid.
I assume you're referring to the main adult couple at the center or part of the center of this movie, but there are other adults that do stupid shit in this movie too that I wanted to smack.
This movie, I shouldn't say this, but this movie is like working front of house. You work front of house and all the stupid things come up to you.
And you know the thing that made me the angriest? How the hell can you have a party with a bunch of kids and you're at home and you don't snoop? If there was snooping, none of this would have ever happened.
This is okay. So now I am angry at you, Les, because you got far enough into this movie to realize that it is not going to be the kind of Lifetime movie you want it to be, but yet you're still mad at it for not being a better movie. It's just
no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Those parents sat their asses in their bedroom as this party goes out of control, and not once did the mom go and peek behind a door to see what was going on, or pretend like she was going to the bathroom and then go running downstairs, or go downstairs for like a glass of wine or a snack just to see what was going on.
Yeah, any of that would have made this slightly interesting.
That's just good parenting, snooping.
Well, you're expecting these people who were clearly terrible parents to now be good parents for the sake of you enjoying the snooping in the movie?
Oh, no. I mean, that's just, that's just being a human being snooping.
And the fact that it's their house and their kids. Oh, it's so... Now you're getting me riled up.
Right. So,
because I mean, if we want to talk about the merits of like it didn't really hit any of the Lifetime buttons other than like sprinkling in a message that is important to parents right now. Like nothing about this was a Lifetime movie. There was the opposite of a black hoodie. There's a white hoodie.
Right.
There's no snooping. There's no murdering. There's no. I don't think any of these characters had sex in the movie.
The only thing they had, the one person had fabulous hair in jail, and that was it. That was it. They went to jail and had fabulous hair.
I wonder if a certain organization that gets mentioned in this, I wonder if they contributed to this movie, like financially.
I bet they either consulted or somebody, either as a producer or as talent in the movie, had some community service they needed to serve, and this may have fulfilled that requirement to some degree.
No,
I truly believe that to be true.
You eviscerated this movie with that one. The movie is a result of community service.
Well, because there's no storyline. There's nobody to care about.
None.
And it's so fucking preachy, and it literally ends with basically a TED talk about the dangers of teenage drinking and driving at the end. Fucking terrible.
And I gotta tell you, so whenever we see movies that we don't like, I know that at the end of the day, even if we hate the movie, we always find something that we liked about it.
Well, you probably liked the kid's sister because she was always pissed off.
Oh, I did like her.
You can relate to her.
But other than her,
you can relate to her. She was pissed off to be there, just like the rest of us.
No, because her
she was us,
like misogynists.
She was us. Her parents were misogynists, actually.
They were
misogynists.
They totally were.
Yeah.
Because
and I should also point out, like, I know one of the main cast members, and even that said, I'm still. What's that, Kurt?
He looks like he has a second job. He looks like a little.
Well, he used to be a bartender at Tier Lounge in West Hollywood.
Because I know this person.
And I was going to be nice. I look like I have a second job too, because I do. I'm sleepy as well. But listen, so.
Well, wait. I'll go even further.
You have 3 jobs.
I'm gonna go even further.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So, and I'm not gonna say who. I'll tell you offline. One of the characters is the child of someone I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say which character.
Right. You going to watch what you say?
Oh, no, I'm going in. I'm not going to say who it is, though.
All right.
Okay.
I thought the
I'm not
cast.
going to tell you which character it is, but I'm going in on everybody.
I thought the cast looked like it was a combination of women who the director or producer thinks is hot, family members, relatives or wives of the CEO, and some people who won a contest.
I mean,
Right.
clearly they must have had some sort of like enrollment like discount at the Park Ranger School of Acting, because there
Right.
were a bunch of the class of 2023 in this movie.
That's not possible.
Oh, no.
This trail's been
Park
closed
Ranger
for
was
8
teaching the
years.
class.
It's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
No,
Don't
she
interrupt
taught the
Park
class.
Ranger. She taught the class.
Yes. She taught the class.
Poor people.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Park Ranger played one of the teenagers in this movie and we just didn't realize it.
Right. Oh no, this was
She's versatile.
She taught the class, and instead of having like at the end like a showcase, they all got to be in this movie instead.
Yes, this was the classroom showcase.
This was the showcase. And they send out those little postcards to agents.
Yeah.
Please watch my showcase.
And
on
she
my
probably gets funding for the government because she's a school, but in order to qualify for that, she has to show that she's doing some sort of like public good, hence the like
Right.
really heavy-handed messages to teens.
Right. Because and we'll get into. Actually, what we should do before we go any further. Do we have any artist formerly known as Blac Chyna news?
Doing a piece of China.
China.
I'm talking China.
The Blac Chyna Report. Here's Kurt Fitzpatrick.
Well, this is from a couple weeks ago, but we have to catch up. This is from page 6, dated from a few weeks ago, I said. Many of us want to know whether Blac Chyna will remain celibate after her physical transformation.
Yes.
Blac Chyna has revealed whether she plans to become celibate as part of her life-changing journey. No. The Robin Chyna alum simply replied on Sway's Universe Friday when asked whether she would abstain from sex. After erupting in laughter, the former stripper-turned-reality TV star quipped, "Listen, I ain't trying to have no attitude now." Chyna then shared the clip from the interview on her Instagram story Saturday alongside the caption, "Gotta keep it real." Though the influencer, whose real name is Angela Renee White, isn't planning on being celibate anytime soon, there are many other things that she has given up. Last month, Chyna 34 revealed that she had underwent breast and butt reduction surgery. I just want all the ladies out there to know, do not get silicone shots because you can get sick, you can die, have complications, and all this other crazy stuff, the mom of two said in an Instagram video on March 13th, adding that she was 19 years old when she began having silicone shots in her bottom. After the surgery, Chyna shared another video of herself lying in bed with bandages all over her body. She revealed that her procedure, which usually takes 4 hours, took nearly 9 hours to complete. Whatever that silicone mass, whatever that was in my buttocks, it kept clogging the machine and breaking it, she said. Aside from going under the knife, Chyna had the fillers in her face dissolved, and she removed a demonic tattoo of a Baphomet, which is a goat-headed deity symbol of the occult from her lower back and butt area. She then got baptized. The model also deactivated her OnlyFans account, which raked in a reported $240 million in 2021. Chyna said she wanted to set a positive example for her kids, King 10 and Dream 6, whom she shares with exes Tyga and Rob Kardashian, respectively. "I'm just changing everything about me," she explained on the Jason Lee show last month. Okay. It's a dead end. All that stuff is a dead end. I know that I'm worth way more than that. That's what they say on page 6. I also read a recent article. She didn't pay her income tax. She didn't file her income taxes since 2017. So she's got to catch up with that.
I'm surprised page 6 is still reporting the $200 million a year from OnlyFans, because even Blac Chyna has said that's not true. It's not even close to
$2
true.
million.
Yeah.
If I was her kid, I would want her to continue the OnlyFans account if that's how much she's making.
I got to tell you, though. So here's the thing. So everything that you said, I actually kind of agree with. Okay, so she got rid of an ugly tattoo.
A tramp
That's
stamp.
good.
It was a tramp stamp. It was her lower back.
Right. She took out her implants, which, you know, there are studies now that show that, like, implants can lead to autoimmune. And I've seen a couple of documentaries about that. Who was it? Oh, it was Michelle Visage from RuPaul's Drag Race was talking about how she had her implants removed because it was causing her to have autoimmune disease. So that's good. She's taking care of her kids. I saw a picture when she removed the Juvederm. She actually looks better without it.
She does. Yeah, I feel like I have a real conflict of interest because I really have the hots for her these days. And I don't think I really did before.
And really, Kurt? Well, she's not she's not giving up sex. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So actually, I actually didn't think this was a bad article. So before we start, I have an update. I have a total update from our conversation from last week.
Oh, okay.
Where's our music?
Oh, I don't know what I'm updating. All right.
And now, an update that I know nothing about. Here's Les Kirkendall Barrett, I think.
What would you be updating? I can't remember.
Well, okay, so our update was, remember last week when we were talking about Lifetime and speculating how many takes the actors get?
Oh, yeah.
Guesses?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said that I was going to talk to our friend of the podcast, Meredith Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because, and I see Meredith every Thursday because Meredith and I do volunteer work together. Actually, she's the one that got me into it. And where we go to schools and teach kids, like elementary school students, about storytelling. So I asked Meredith Thomas, how many takes do the actors get? And none of us were right. So Meredith said that as an actor, since it's such a tight turnaround, they literally get one take.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
That doesn't surprise me. They work on a very almost soap opera like schedule. They get a little more time than a soap, but they're also, filming in locations and stuff like that. And that's probably why they use a lot of soap actors, because they're used to moving that fast.
Yeah. So she's like, you get one shot and that's it.
Probably better get it right.
Yep. So I just wanted to update that. Oh, and I want to say hi to our listener, our friend Jaquetta. Jaquetta has been sending messages lately, saying how much she's enjoying the podcast, and she says that we get her through her workouts. So if Jaquetta is listening to this right now, she's working out. So keep going.
Hi again. We would love to have her on again.
On the show?
Yeah, she was.
Wasn't she on the show? Yeah, that's right.
And we should have her back soon too.
Absolutely. I remember.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to get into this piece of shit?
Yeah. Let's get drunk and drive our car right through the center of this movie.
Damn.
I was having thoughts towards the end of this movie, and I was texting you I was messaging you both my thoughts.
Yeah.
What I wanted to do to people.
Yeah.
I don't know that you should vocalize that.
Okay.
I was going to say,
like,
geez. Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to get canceled. I don't need to get canceled because of the shitty acting in this movie. There's better ways to get canceled.
This was top to bottom not a good movie. It felt lazily written. There was no real care put into it. The performances were bad, but I think that's because the writing and direction were also bad, so the performances didn't have a chance. I
had to stop myself because I caught myself watching YouTube a couple of times as the movie was going on.
Well, you can't do that. You need to give it full attention.
Damn it. Okay, so we're at a basketball game.
For drunk driving in 17 from Lifetime, fucker.
Yes, so we're at a basketball game. And then I was happy for a split second because they showed the mom who was Michael Michelle. And I thought, oh my God, Michael Michelle's in this movie. Now, Michael Michelle was, you know how on Channel 11, I think it was, or the CW, they did a reboot of Dynasty?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the Dynasty reboot, Michael Michelle was Dominique Devereaux. So I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a good movie.
Was that the Diane Carroll character from the original
Yes.
Dynasty? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, the Dynasty update, Grant Show was Blake Carrington.
Yeah, I knew that.
Nicolette Sheridan was Nicolette Sheridan was Alexis. Crystal was a Latina character, and Sammy Joe was a gay man.
Okay.
And the Colbys were black.
Yeah.
So
what is her name? Michael Michelle?
yeah.
What else has she been in? Because I recognized her.
She was, so back in the day, in the 90s, she was in a nighttime soap called Central Park West.
Oh, yeah. It was from Darren Star, the creative Melrose Place in Sex and the City.
And that was the one, because you know how, like, back then, they had, like, the trope, like, an aging actress, like, the second season would come in to save the show. Like, for example, Melrose Place, Heather Locklear came in. Well, she wasn't aging, but she was
older than the rest of the cast.
Right.
Yeah.
So Heather Locklear
came in.
Dynasty, Dynasty, Joan Collins came in. Well, in Central Park West, Raquel Welch came in as like the older lady.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, I remember Michael Michelle from Central Park West. I gotta say, she does look exactly the same. She has aged very well.
Yeah, I mean, she looked very young. But also the kid that played her son in the movie, he's on Love Victor, that show on Hulu. He's like one of the friends on there. And
yeah, we watched that show.
Yeah, he's on there too. And like in both shows, like he's a good looking guy, but he does not look like a teenager. He looks like an adult male.
I'm looking for the time, looking for the play.
That was a while ago. That movie, that show was on.
Oh, I loved Love Victor. Because what's her name from Ugly Betty was in it.
Yes, I liked her on there.
America Ferrera.
No. The woman who played her sister.
Yeah.
It was also on Devious Maids, which I loved as well.
I was an extra in Ugly Betty.
Really?
And then I was an extra on The Good Wife, and America Ferrera was on the episode.
So is she like, are you following me, Kurt Fitzpatrick?
Yes. Exactly what she said. And I said, yes, I am.
So then the team won the game, and then we see the dad, who was someone that both Jason and I know.
Yeah. He's vanilla. That's what somebody said that about him. I said he was vanilla.
His acting name that he goes by now is David Shea.
Yeah. Yes. So they finish the game, they win, and the parents are like, well, hey, let's go to dinner. And then the son, who looked too old to be there, the son looked like a teenager, like the cast of Grease were teenagers.
Yeah, for sure.
What they should have done was they should have gotten that kid, the other teenager should have sent him to the liquor store because he obviously looks like he's older. That would have made sense.
Right, exactly. And the kids say, we have other plans. And then they go to a bonfire. And then there's this one girl who, she was pissed because her boyfriend had to work. What was her name? I forget. Like Amy or something.
I never wrote her name
I
down.
think that's...
She's mad.
What the heck's her name? I finally figured it out by the end of the movie. I don't remember.
She's pissed because her boyfriend has a job.
I'll just call her
Pissed
Pissed
Girl. She doesn't want a man with a job.
So yeah, so Pissed Girl is pissed at her boyfriend because he has to work.
Is it Lisa?
Wow.
Was it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, her name is Pissed Girl now. So Pissed Girl was pissed because her boyfriend always had to work.
Pissy.
Yeah, pissed.
They were as they're like talking about how like, you know, they're drinking and stuff. They're talking about like they're dreaming about living in Manhattan so they can have access to ride share. Right. And one of them uses the term podunk town. I'm sorry, no kid in 2023 is referring to the place where they're currently at as a podunk town. That's not a phrase anyone uses anymore.
And gee, my goals aren't lofty at all. I want to move to New York so I can take Uber.
That's what they want to do?
Yeah, they were basically.
They wanted to take rideshare.
They said something about rideshare, but the reasoning was like, because like you can get around anywhere, you don't have to worry about drinking. It was all that's what I say. Every line of fucking dialogue in this movie was this heavy-handed way of saying, "Don't drink and drive."
And dummy kids, the subway's cheaper than an Uber.
Yeah, you ride the subway. Subway system's great.
You'll get there faster.
I can't wait till I'm older. I get to ride the bus in the city.
So then one of the girls says that, oh, my dad says the good stuff is in the garage and he's giving you the good stuff, the good booze to thank you for winning the game.
The whiskey, yeah. Is it whiskey? Yeah, these are responsible adults as well. I think there are people that's stupid though.
Oh no, I'm sure. No, I know there are people that are that stupid.
Yeah. I watched it at first. I'm like, are you kidding? I was like, oh no, yeah.
No, there are people that are that.
Here, kids, here's some whiskey.
So
well, like full disclosure, because when I was growing up, I never really had a desire to drink, and that just wasn't me. Things have changed now, but back then, my parents had the attitude. Look, we don't want you to like go and drink with friends. Like, we don't think you should be doing that. But like, if you're going to do it, like do it at home because at least you're here and like you're not going anywhere. But it wasn't a like, hey, you could have a big party and invite all of your friends and they'll just have unfettered access to alcohol. It wasn't that. It was like, if you're going to do it, like do it in a controlled environment. Don't be a dumbass.
Right. I think my parents had the same attitude, but it's way different than having like a bonfire outside and you're supplying whiskey to a bunch of, whole class.
And for me, like the whole reason why I was allowed to drink and a lot of the kids in my high school were allowed to drink was because, we were Americans living overseas and my parents were like, well, since it's legal in the country that we're living in, you're allowed to drink because it's not against the law. Mm-hmm. And so, so no, I totally get the parent saying, drink in our house. But yeah, we're not going to be dumb and have a party that we're liable for everybody at the party with a bunch of minors either.
Yeah.
I was in my high school, man. These kids love to drink, and I didn't drink. I lived pretty far away from the high school anyway, so I didn't really have access. But these kids would just drink at the weekends, and like all week long, they just talk about how they drank last weekend, what they're going to drink this weekend. I mean, it was like 80% of what I used to hear.
But another thing though, so I was allowed to drink, but I was allowed to go to bars and clubs, and I went dancing all the time, and like our high school hangout was like in a bar. So I remember coming back to the States, visiting, and like the kids here would be like, well, we're gonna go in the woods and drink, and I'd be like, the woods? What are you barbarians? The woods?
Yeah, that's what these kids used to do. Yeah, they used to go to the woods. Yeah, there's a place called the Spot. They go to the Spot.
Yeah.
God knows what it was. It was like a UFO landing, I guess, like in the woods somewhere.
I'm like, what? I'm coming home at midnight at my curfew and then sneaking back out and going dancing until 4 a.m. The woods.
See, that's fun. I want to dance. In the woods.
And then, the next day, getting, my mom saying that your room smells like cigarettes, and me going, oh, well, it was my clothes from last night when I came home at midnight. Not when I went back out. Wow, I've led a life. Anyway. So then the old-looking kid was like, guess what? I got into Stanford.
They said Stanford so many times in like a 2-minute section of this movie that I was going to start a drinking game.
Right. Now, did poor Brad have to watch this movie with you?
No, he saw like the last 2 minutes of it, but he avoided this one.
Because I always apologize to your friend Brad.
I think this one would have ended the friendship.
Right. Well, actually, Brad's my friend now too, so I just apologize to Brad. Yeah. Anyway, so then, now why was the disgruntled sister? Because I just wrote the disgruntled sister is yelling, and I love her. Why was she mad? She was mad about something.
Oh, because when the kid that looked old, when he got the phone call from Stanford to let him know that he got into Stanford, Mom and Dad, by the way, I got into Stanford. Can I say Stanford again? The dad's like, oh, congrats, son. And like hands him a beer. And the mom's like, what are you doing? And the daughter's like, what, can I have one? And the dad's like, no. And she's like, why? Like, he just because he got into college, he gets a beer. And yeah, this is where the misogyny started, with the way they treated her versus the way they treated the brother.
Right. And both parents were misogynists too.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, she had a point.
She did have a point. She
like
absolutely
I said, she was
did.
the only one who made sense. She was
Yeah.
pissed off to be there.
No. I don't blame her. I was just as pissed off watching it.
Like, they should have
upset
either,
about everything.
in that moment when she said that, they should have just been like, yeah, you can have one too. Don't be a pain in the ass. Or like, yeah, actually, you know what? Your brother shouldn't have one. That was like, we made the wrong choice. We take it back.
Or they could have done what I would have done with, yeah, your brother, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Your brother shouldn't be drinking. And then I would turn to the brother and go, I'll give it to you when she leaves the room.
Or you could say, you'll get one when you find out what college you get into next year.
Actually, I would probably say, yeah, you know what? You're right. Don't get it. And then I would look at him and say, yeah, she's right. Go downstairs and give it to him down there.
I'd give them an ice cream instead. An ice cream cone.
So then the old looking dude was like, can I have a party? And Michael Michelle is like, yeah, we can have a pizza party and invite some of your friends over. And then the dad is like, no, he means a party.
Oh,
Kegger.
like an orgy?
No, they even mentioned the word kegger, I believe.
Right.
Oh, I thought you're talking about they want to have an orgy.
No, not a party, just a party.
Oh, just a party. We're going mid-level.
Right.
Okay.
And so then Michael Michelle says, all right, okay, we'll do this, but here are the rules. I'll take everybody's keys, which, you know, I got to give credit where credit is due. If you were going to have a party like that with a bunch of kids at your house, yes, that is the thing to do, is take everybody's keys.
And also, if you're going to have an orgy, you take everyone's keys and you put them in a bowl.
Right.
Oh, that's right, a key party. Yeah.
Right.
Doing that. There's all kinds of parties.
So then I wrote here, because the dad is very excited about this party, and I wrote, the dad is ready to turn up, because he was like very excited about this party.
He's kind of an asshole. Like, he wants to be cool, which is a problem. I've recognized that as a problem for many years. When I was a kid, there'd be this adult who'd want to be cool like the kids.
Yeah.
No, you're an adult.
Right. Or as you tell your kids, which I never thought I'd be the person to say this, but you say to your kids, look, I'm not your friend, I'm your parent.
Yeah.
Right.
And
what's that line from like every reality show? I'm not here to make friends.
Make friends. But honestly, when I say that, like when I hear that coming out of my mouth, I feel like I've been possessed by someone, because that's totally not my attitude in life. But I learned, like, you can't be your kid's friend. You can't. You know, you can't. Until
no, and the fact that you're looking as an adult, you're looking for validation from kids. Oh my.
Especially these fucking kids.
Oh my.
These kids were annoying.
Sorry.
Every character in this movie was annoying. There was not a single sympathetic character in this fucking movie. Not one.
But the real horror is this is holding up a mirror up to society, that there really are people this dumb.
Yeah.
That's what's really upsetting.
So the next day, they're in the cafeteria, all the kids, and the old looking guy looks like he's a teacher there on lunchroom duty, as the other ones look like kids. And so they're talking about the party, and then these two strange guys come up and say, hey, I hear there's going to be a party this weekend. And he's like, yeah. And his girlfriend is like, Kim is like, why? You don't even know those kids. And he's like, yeah, I know. but I'm cool now.
I'm cool, so I'm like this random gang.
So then they show Michael Michelle and a couple of other moms having drinks. And she says, I feel weird about having kids over drinking.
Well,
one of the other moms looks like she's just done.
The three moms are sitting there commiserating about whether or not it's good to let their kids drink while they're all there drinking. And then again, heavy-handed, one of them's like, okay, no more for me because I got to drive. Like,
right.
I wanted to climb through the screen and punch the writer.
Right. Right.
Well, one of her friends too, I think is a case of being the CEO's aunt.
Did you look it up, Kurt? Did you look up the credits?
I mean, this woman didn't come from any casting agency. She's related to this movie through blood.
Well, look, the Park Ranger School of Acting does have classes for all levels of students at all ages.
That's not possible. This trail's been closed for 8 years. It's extremely dangerous.
Let's not forget Neighbors. Well, there's also Neighbors. These people, I know some of you people, wealthy people out in LA, you got those next door neighbors, you want to keep them happy. Hey, come on to the set tomorrow, I'll give you a role.
Well, this is how you end up in a role in this movie, is you let your kids drink and have a super loud party and your neighbors get pissed off and threaten to report you to the police. You're like, hey, I'm actually filming a movie about this very subject. You should be in it.
That's exactly it.
Right.
That's exactly. I'm sure that's happened, and that's probably.
And now I'm even more mad because I don't have neighbors like that, and I can act. God damn it!
God. You know how people get into some of these movies, though. It's all sorts of wacky ways.
Shit.
You know who's.
Am I disgruntled? So then they show Kim, the girl. And her mom is making some coffee, and Kim is like giving her mom shit for drinking coffee at home.
Sometimes when her mom is acting, it's like one of those Narnia movies where the people just freeze.
What?
This doesn't happen in like the Narnia, like the Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, where the people just freeze, they turn to stone.
Yeah.
Sometimes her reaction, she's talking to somebody, it looks like she just they've frozen her.
Right. I love that movie Narnia. I can't believe there's only 3 of them though, or there's 2 of them.
She could be in part 4 as one of the frozen people.
Mr. Tumnus.
One of the people who turned to stone.
So,
maybe she looked at that woman with the snakes in her hair from mythology. What was her name?
Medusa?
Yeah, when you look at Medusa, you turn to stone.
No, she is watching all of the scenes being filmed around her, and she's dumbfounded that she agreed to be in this crap. She's mad at herself.
Right.
Well, she only has herself to blame.
Absolutely.
I guess work is work. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, at least...
Either this would be a greeter.
Right, that's true. So, okay. So, so they're at the party, and what are we calling her? Annoying girl.
Her name's
Annoying
Kim.
girl is
Kim?
saying Kim or the other one?
Well, Kim is the main girl.
Yeah.
The one that's the girlfriend of the guy that looks too old.
Okay. So the girlfriend, so Kim is talking to her friend, her annoying friend, and the annoying friend says she's pissed because her boyfriend has to work. But her boyfriend has to work this entire movie until he does.
Save up.
So then the next day, they're in they're at their practice.
Rehearsal.
And who was this? The PE teacher? Who was this disgruntled?
He was either like a PE
he's
teacher
not
or
the
like
coach. He says he's not the coach.
Yeah, he must have been PE or maybe an assistant coach, but he was some adult in the gym wearing shorts and I think a whistle and scolding them for having been drinking on the weekend because we can't go 5 seconds in this movie without being hit over the head with the message that drinking and driving is bad.
And you know, with that, it's like, you know, shut the fuck up. This is none of your business. You're not even the coach.
I don't know who he is.
Because that's right. If he's not the coach, then yeah, shut the fuck. Go away. This is none of your business.
He's the maintenance person for that gym that they rented out to film this scene. And he showed up there with keys, and the guy that played the coach read the script, dropped out of the movie, and they needed someone to deliver his dialogue.
Right.
Probably what happened.
So then Heather walks up and she is into the old looking student. And she is horny. She's ready to get into something. And then the old guy like walks away, but he's kind of interested. But at this time, him and Kim are talking about going to Stanford, drink together. And Kim's mom told her, though, you're too young to be caught up in some guy. But Kim is like, no, I'm going to Stanford. Well, the joke's on Kim because Kim gets a letter and Stanford said, you may think you're coming to us, but we're not having you. We're putting you on a wait list.
Damn.
Ha!
Yeah. And then she just comes up with this cockamamie plan, like, hey, I'm still going to move up there and we'll get an apartment. Maybe I'll go to a community college and I'll reapply and you and me can move into together, David, because I love you.
And David's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
I may look like I'm 35, but I'm only 18.
Yeah. Oh, I said David. I think it might be Dan. It's the old guy.
Oh, Dan.
Yeah, the old.
His name's Dan. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan. So I might look like I'm 40, but I'm only 18. I'm only 17.
Yeah.
So cool your jets, ma'am.
Yeah. Maybe instead of applying to Stanford, you should apply to the Park Ranger School of Acting.
Right. Maybe instead of going to Stanford, you should apply to the Stella Adler. Is that place in West Hollywood?
Yes.
Stella Adler? Yeah, she was an acting teacher. Oh, a guest appearance by John.
Oh, hi,
A
John.
guest appearance by John.
Did John watch this movie with you?
No, he did not.
We should make him watch it. See what he thinks.
Because if John watched this movie with me, I'd be on this podcast probably telling you how I'm going to divorce court. So they're getting ready for the party, and then like Kim calls Dan, and she's like, Dan, can I come and help you? And Dan's being very frosty to her now, and he's like, no. And so then we see the girls getting ready, and then see, this is called an asshole friend.
Yeah.
Because they're getting ready, and then the asshole friend is like, so what do you think about Dan and Heather? And Kim's like, wait, what? And then she spills the beans that Heather is like sniffing around Dan, and Dan is not like.
Where's that soundbite? You know what I'm talking about?
What?
You dick. That's.
Oh.
You dick!
I wasn't expecting to play that. Sorry.
That's okay. That was needed for this scene.
It's needed for everyone in this movie.
Right.
We could play it more often. Yeah, that was rude.
Right. Like, what kind of friend is that?
But there are people like that as well. But no, it's not a good friend. This is the worst kind of humanity.
Seriously.
It's that layer. It's the layer of despair in this movie.
The layer of despair.
That could have been the name of the movie. It's better than drunk driving at 17. The layer of despair.
That makes it sound like it was going to be far more interesting than it actually is.
I'm going to start somewhere. Maybe that would have inspired them to make something more inspiring.
Oh, I'm in despair talking about this piece of shit.
A layer of despair.
Oh, okay. So then I wrote here, getting ready for the party is making Dad very horny. Because he is looking like he is just like ready to turn up and jump on Michael Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. His sperm is swimming upstream.
Which
ready to go.
Which, given where I know this person from, let's say that's surprising.
Well, what are you saying?
Oh yeah, actually you're right.
Just
You're
saying,
right.
him wanting to jump on Michael Michelle is surprising.
Perhaps swimming
To me, at
downstream.
least. Yeah.
Yes. And then they give a hard time to their daughter again. She wants to be at the party too. No, she has to go sit out in the shed for the night because she can't go to the party. Where did she go then?
She went to her friend's house.
To her friend's house.
Oh, I thought they locked her in the
No,
station
but the
wagon.
parents basically set up a sleepover for her without telling her. They're like, "Oh, you're going over to so and so's house." She's like, "What the hell? Like, why can't I be at a party at my own house?" Calls her parents out for the double standard that she isn't allowed to be at a party at her own house with drinking, but her brother can have the party with the drinking. Like, she's not wrong.
And no, she's totally not wrong. She's totally not wrong. And I wrote here again, these parents are goddamn misogynists in my notes.
Yeah.
That daughter should justifiably run away from home. She could. Can't you go to court and declare your independence?
Well, actually,
emancipation.
She should do that.
Actually, at the end of the day, the daughter is probably laughing at the rest of them because the daughter was the only one that got out unscathed.
Yeah, actually, I said there were no sympathetic characters in this movie. I sympathize with this daughter. She is the only character that I did not dislike.
Right.
She's a little like Connor Roy in Succession. She's kind of on the outskirts, and as a result, she's the one that's actually getting ahead.
Yeah.
But Connor's not. Connor may be on the outskirts, but he's not getting ahead, and he's not likable either. He's a fucking douchebag.
But don't you think he's kind of not ahead, but he's doing all right. Right now, where we're at in Succession, he seems to be doing a little better than the rest of the.
I would disagree. I would fully disagree. Yeah.
In the sense that, I mean, he's got to pretty much stay where he is, I guess. But the kids the kids are kind of at each other.
Well, the kids may be at each other. He might not be part of that, but he, like, how sad is his life that he wants to be part of that? He wants to be accepted a little more by his father. He wants to have an actual relationship with his family. What's that?
He doesn't seem to. Well, I don't know. Maybe, but was not as attached to his father as the other ones.
Still financially is. Still relies on that to get through life.
Hey,
we're talking about a far more interesting show than this movie.
I know we're going off on Succession, but one question: do you guys know the answer to this? Is Connor wealthier than the other kids? Because it seems like he is.
No, I don't think so.
Could he be wealthier because he had a different mother, though? It seems like he's wealthier.
Possibly, but I think Logan made like the lion's share of his money when they were like, you know, as they continued through life, where he presumably wouldn't be giving money to his firstborn son at that point.
Okay. He's presented like he's wealthier. We also don't know if his mother is still alive.
Who, Connor?
Yeah, we don't know that. I think she might be. I think they're going to drop that on us. Anyway,
yeah,
Succession is a great show.
This movie is
Driving, and 17 is the other end of the scale.
Let's get through this.
Yes, please. Let's.
Succession is such a great show, isn't it? I love it. All right, so here we go.
I meant the part where the guys like puked out of the stuffed animal's eyes. Anyway, So, so initially the dad's taking the keys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the old guy comes up to the dad and was like, I think Steve should be taking the keys. And the dad's like, okay, and goes upstairs. No, you dumb jackass. That's when you say, no, Steve is not going to be the key master. Go in there and have your drinks.
The one set of guardrails you've set up for this party that is a bad idea for you to allow in the first place, the one way of sort of escaping any problems, you've now said, oh, yeah, I don't have to do that? Cool.
Right.
And then the parents sit upstairs dressed up in all white.
Yes.
You see that? Like they're in. Remember that video by Huff Daddy?
Yes.
P.
What
Diddy.
video was that?
I'll be missing you. Where the people are dressed in white.
It wasn't like they were like white pajamas. They were like white jumpsuits. They were like white velour. It was so weird. And they were both wearing them.
It's like they were the maitre d's in heaven. You know, you go up and see them. Here we are. Welcome to the cloud. These people are ill, though. You're right. Yeah, I wouldn't be sitting upstairs with a bunch of kids.
These parents are ill, or they be illin'.
But mentally, you be illin'. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun.
Man, that's a great album. You be illin'.
Illin. That's funny. Anyway, so the parents go upstairs, and Dan is talking to Heather, right? And
not yet. He's talking to Kim, and he's acting really weird around Kim.
Right. But now at this point, I don't blame him for acting really weird about Kim, because Kim is being really like needy and pushy at this point.
She is, but he is clearly pushing her away too.
Yeah. Oh no, he is.
And like he's a dumbass because he hasn't broken up with Kim yet, while at the same time he invited Heather over to this same party at his house.
Well, that's just called being a man. Pig, like a pig.
I think if you're going to be a pig, you do a little more discreetly.
But remember, he may look like he's 40, but he's only 17, so he doesn't know any better.
Yeah, I guess he could be a little naive. Right. They start sucking face with Heather.
Yeah.
So the mom's like, yeah, no, maybe I should go down and check on them, and the dad is like, don't you dare. And
she's gonna listen to him?
She does. And
I mean, she listened to him when he said, hey, put on a white jumpsuit like mine.
Right.
Like a pajama party.
So
I thought he wanted to get laid, so they're just hanging upstairs, and nobody gets any action in this movie, right?
Nobody.
Again, I would find it surprising.
Well, you know,
if that were the path that relationship took.
Oh, you know, well, yeah, because the dad did. The dad was, you know, somewhere where, you know, things happen.
What? That sounds vague.
It was meant to be.
So,
it's possible that the dad, this is not the first white party that he's been to.
Right. Well, that I know for a fact.
What are you talking about? Is a white party a thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh boy, I'll Google that later.
Oh, so then the annoying girl's boyfriend calls from work, and then meanwhile, yes, Kim catches Dan and Heather kissing. So then this is the part where so Kim starts flipping out, right? Mm-hmm. And then Dan is like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Then Dan just dumps her on the spot. So then Kim freaks out and she starts crying. Now, this part I'm like, okay, they're 16, 17 years old. They're acting like they are supposed to act.
Yes, for sure.
So then Kim's like getting drunk.
This is I found this a little unbelievable, and maybe I'm being naive, but if you're somebody like Kim who isn't a drinker, hasn't been a drinker, has always said no to it, you don't suddenly decide because you're upset, now's the time that I need a drink to get over being upset, because you've never had alcohol to know that can do that for you.
But you're a 17-year-old girl, and I'm not saying this to be sexist, but teenage girls are known to be a little dramatic, especially something like this, when you had pinned all of your hopes on this old-looking guy and were willing to, like, you know, uproot your life and forego your dreams to get a job just to be with him. So basically, she'd centered her life around this guy, and now her life was over, and so she thought, well, I'm going to be dramatic and get drunk.
I get the being dramatic in the moment. I guess what I'm questioning is the immediate descent into, like, binge drinking, having never drank before. Right. It seems like a pretty big light switch to flip on immediately. Now, if we were talking about an adult, I would totally agree with you. But since we're talking about a kid who doesn't think, you know, who doesn't think straight, that's probably like her immature. She's like immature. So that's just showing her immaturity. Like, I just know, like, first time I tasted alcohol, I was like, oh, I don't like it. Like, you know, you sort of have a taste and you're like, eh. Whereas she sort of takes a beer and chugs it. Right. That's a swing.
A sharp turn.
It's a swing in behavior.
I'm surprised she didn't, like, if there were cigarettes, she'd be smoking cigarettes too.
She became like Dylan Thomas in the White Horse Cafe. She went from being Nicolas Cage and Peggy Sue Got Married to Nicolas Cage and Leaving Las Vegas. One quick beat. Did I get the right Dylan Thomas in the White Horse Tavern? That's what I meant to say. There we go.
So,
all right.
So then the annoying girl calls her boyfriend at work and is like, Kim is drinking, come and get her. It's like, he's working, you dummy. If he wasn't working, he'd be there. So he's supposed to leave work to go pick up your drunk asshole friend and take her home.
Lots of needy women in this movie.
Well, they can't call a ride share in this podunk town.
Right, that's right. You can't call Uber.
So there's no Uber. Well, there's an Uber.
Isn't there Uber everywhere?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I took Uber in Russia.
I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania, and I know they have Uber there.
Right.
I got it here. I'm in the woods.
Right. So
not much of it though.
So then Kim is like drunk. Oh, so like when she chugged the beer, someone recorded it and put it on Instagram.
Yeah, her friend, her asshole friend.
Some friend.
And her friend's all, well. I got like 100 likes in like 2 minutes. And so then, so Kim is wasted at this point. And so this guy shows up and is like, you know, I'll help you out, and leads her to the bedroom. And I'm like, uh-oh, this does not look good.
And that actor was pretty good, right? He was effectively creepy.
Yeah.
But he, too, looked like he was 35.
Well, he may have been. She never saw this kid before. And
right.
This is like our high school people are there.
Well, he won a scholarship to the Park Ranger School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He has actual promise. Yeah.
So you know, he, without, you know, I don't need to rehash what he did. Like, he tried to, attack her, but
she got a bat.
Like, no. Yes. Which was good, because she defended herself and got out of there.
Yeah.
But then, and for a split second, I actually was like, okay, you go, girl. Yeah, don't, good for you. You, like, got a bat and threatened to beat the shit out of this guy, and he left you alone.
Yeah.
But that did not last long at all. Because, Kim is crying and stuff.
She calls her mom.
And then Kim turns into the ultimate asshole. The ultimate asshole. She picks up a pair of keys that aren't hers, and it's actually Michael Michelle's keys, and gets into her car and drives away.
Yeah.
She bought that car with her Central Park West money.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so Kim being just an asshole, picks up keys that do not belong to her and gets into a car that does not belong to her.
Actually, one thing that they talk so much about the drinking and driving and how bad it is and all the legal ramifications of all that. Never once do they discuss Grand Theft Auto. She literally stole somebody's car.
She stole a car. That was like, to me, that scene was the ultimate in entitlement. Now, if this was Days of Our Lives, it would be different. But no, in this, she just got behind a car and just went driving, drunk and crying. Wow. And so Michael Michelle, meanwhile, is in her room, and it starts sounding so rowdy that she tells her husband, okay, this is sounding way too rowdy. I don't care what you say. I'm going downstairs. And she goes downstairs, and all hell is breaking loose in this party. And so she's like, that's it. Party's over. I'm taking everybody's keys. And everybody's spending the night. Everybody, I'm taking your keys. But
you're all wearing white pajamas.
Yeah. But then they realize that there's so many kids there that they don't know. They don't have everybody's keys. And so Kim is in a car that does not belong to her, and she's drunk and crying, and she's on the phone as she's drunk and crying and driving the car that doesn't belong to her.
And she's watching a Hallmark movie for a podcast as she's driving.
In a pouring rain.
I keep my eyes on the road.
In the pouring rain.
I keep my eyes on the road, and it wasn't a rain, it was a tornado warning.
Oh, that's better. But wait, again, I ask, how do you keep your eyes on the road if you're watching a movie? The movie is not the road.
Well, I had it on my thing, on my hands-free thing.
Yeah, tell it to the judge in this Lifetime movie, Les.
Yeah, I would have gone down too, because this was like in Oklahoma as that was happening. Anyway, so Kim gets in an accident.
Oklahoma? What were we doing right through Oklahoma?
I was driving home from Cincinnati, and so I was driving back to LA from Cincinnati, and I took Route 66. And so I drove through Oklahoma, and I actually have friends who live in Oklahoma. And so I stopped by and spent the night, and actually that was like the next day. I was getting my kicks on Route 66.
Nice.
I walk along it every day. I do. Santa Monica Boulevard. You do. Santa Monica Boulevard.
That's right, you do.
That's Route 66.
Yeah, it is. In this part of the country, yeah.
Kicks. Oh, okay. So she's in the emergency room, and actually the people in the emergency room like know her because her mom works in that hospital.
Yeah.
So then the cops come over to the party house, and they're like, there was an accident, and the person was, coming from this party.
In your car.
No, they were like, your car's in an accident. And she's like, what are you talking about? No, my car's here. And then he's like, nope, your car was in an accident. And then they say, and it was Kim. And then they realize, oh shit, Kim took the car. And they said, so your car was stolen? And this is where she should have said, yes, she stole my car. But she didn't.
Yeah, she should have. Because otherwise, she just let her take the car while she was drinking.
Right.
Dumbass.
Right. Because this had ramifications later.
Right. You say, no, she did take the car. I did not know she had the car. Oh, I know her, but I didn't know she took the car.
Or I would have said, that little bitch took my car. Exactly like that.
She needed to get her story straight.
So then we're in the emergency room. Everybody's crying.
Some weird people show up. The guy who plays Joey's father, with the weird looking guy with the beard. I don't know if he lives on the left house next to the producer or the right house. I'm not sure.
Because then we find out that it was Joey, and Joey listened to his dumb girlfriend and took off of work to go and pick up his drunk friend to take her home.
And he's the one that Kim hit.
Right. So not Joey, hey, why don't you sneak out of work and come and hang out with us? No, Joey, you work your shift and then you come and pick up my drunk friend and take her home. And then you go home too. And I'll stay here at the party.
Also,
I wasn't even sure.
These dumbass kids knew that the parents were okay with this party happening at this house. So if they needed to get Kim out of there, why the fuck didn't they just go to the parents?
Right. Exactly.
Why didn't they go to Michael Michelle and the bartender that we know and say, hey, she's having a night. Can one of you guys take her home?
And Michael Michelle would have probably been extremely cool about it and would have been like, yeah, you know what? She would have probably gone to her son and been like, I'll deal with you later for being like a pig. But then she probably would have taken the girl home and would have been very sympathetic about the whole situation.
Can we talk about Kim? Kim wakes up after this accident, this like horrible accident. She did you guys see Top Gun Maverick?
Yes.
Yeah.
So like Jennifer Connelly and Tom Cruise go sailing and like it's like really windy and she gets off the boat and her hair looks impeccable. It looks like it hasn't been. That is Kim waking up from being in this car accident. She looks stunning. No bandages, no blood, no bruises. Nothing has happened to her.
Nothing.
Her.
And then her mom is there because her mom's a doctor, right, or a nurse.
Her mom, I think, is probably a nurse. I don't think they ever said, but I think it was implied by the costuming.
Based on the home they live in, I don't think she's a doctor.
So, and we find out that Michael Michelle is a doctor of some sort.
Yeah.
What's she a doctor of?
So then people start getting texts that, Kim was in an accident and that she hit Joey. And so this is the part where then someone came in and took Kim's blood and told the mom, why we're taking this.
Oh, I missed that, but that makes sense.
Why?
Blood alcohol level.
So then Michael Michelle's talking to the bartender,
Her husband.
He's trying to defend his old-looking son, and then Michael Michelle's like, "Don't you dare say boys will be boys," and he's like, "But that is what happened."
That is what he was going to say, and he says kids do stupid things. Somebody there says, "Well, so do adults." Like, yeah, you people,
right? So then,
you all agreed to be in this thing.
Yeah.
How unfortunate.
So then the annoying girl goes up to Kim and was like, Kim, I know you hit Joey. It's all over school and you are dead to all of us, basically. And then she's like, you're lucky he's going to be okay, or you would be a murderer. And then we see other parents are watching Instagram and watching Kim chugging on Instagram. And then the cops come into the hospital and Kim gets arrested.
They pull her. She's in her hospital bed and they're like, stand up, you're under arrest. That wouldn't happen. That would not happen unless she were on the run and had been lying about her whereabouts, and they finally tracked her down and found where she is. Then maybe they pull her out of the hospital bed and take her to the police station right away. She was still in recovery from whatever it was that had happened. They would at least go through the what do they call it? When they let you out of the hospital?
You get discharged.
Yeah, they would go through the discharge process first.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, really? Can you do that? Isn't there a reason she's still in the hospital?
Well,
all right, stop.
they didn't care.
Stop bilking your health insurance. We're leaving.
So then we find out then from Martha that the bartender got arrested.
The husband.
And then
We're going to get confused here.
Well, the bartender played the husband. Yeah.
The bartender who played the husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got arrested too.
Yeah.
We don't get to see that.
No. So then, so one of the parents yells at Michael Michelle because she's like, "You idiot. You're the one that gave our kids these drinks. This is your fault."
This is Kim's mom. Right. Yeah. Dan's mom, Michael Michelle, goes to talk to Kim's mom, and Kim's mom completely puts blame on Michael Michelle. Now, Michael Michelle and the bartender, yes, they played a part in this, but so did your fucking daughter.
Yeah, because Michael Michelle could have been like, "Well, your idiot stole my keys and stole my car." Yeah. And the argument would have been over.
Yeah.
But nope, Michael said nothing. And so then we find out that Kim is being tried as an adult, and she can get up to 15 years in jail, even though she's only 17. And so I'm wondering what state that was in that. Because isn't it here in California, you're considered a minor until you're 18?
I think what they were trying to do anytime they would drop these things about, again, this is an after-school special for adults. This is letting adults know that, like, hey, yeah, your kid might technically be a minor, but if they're right on the cusp, they might be tried as an adult. Hey, right. you know, the kids may be the dumb ones drinking, but you're the ones that are going to deal with a lot of the financial fallout here if this turns into a problem.
Now,
the more you know.
So now the next scene, Kim's parent is a horrible, Kim's mother is a horrible parent, because if my child was responsible for a car accident that severely hurt someone that they went to school with, I would homeschool my kid for their protection. Because Kim goes to school the next day.
In slight defense of the mom, there was a beat where they had a conversation where the mom said, like, you don't have to go to school if you don't want to. Mm-hmm. So the mom didn't make her go to the school.
Okay.
But she does say you can't hide here forever.
Yeah.
She may not have the option of homeschooling if she might have to work enough that she can't really do something like that. And does she really want to have her kid unsupervised?
Well, then she's going to Catholic school across town then.
Mom can't afford that.
Listen, I went to Catholic school. That's even worse.
Well, then she's going to the school in the next county over.
Just let her loose on the land. I don't know what to do.
Let her loose on the land. Oh, so then there's a note on her door. There's a note on her locker that says, "Die, bitch," with like a mean face that didn't look that menacing.
Did you see the weird guy? Really, really prominent too. He looked a little like, remember the actor David Paymer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He looked like David Paymer, but like a really creepy version of David Paymer. He was just kind of walking behind them. Like really prominent too. I thought he was going to become I thought he was a teacher or something, but just kind of wandering around the school.
Yeah.
So he wasn't happy to be there either.
Right. Well, would you if you knew this movie was going to come out and be the way it was?
No, he must have been a background actor that they were shouting at right
or maybe David Paymer had agreed to do this and then got there, realized like what a shit show it was. He's like, I'm getting out of here. Well, dude, we're still filming the scene. I don't care. I'm leaving. I'm walking out now.
And then he's like, and I'm non-union because at least if I was union, I'd be making $180 a day.
Oh no, he definitely looked non-union, and I think craft services were sad.
Yeah, like we don't have M&Ms or anything.
No, there was like he'd have to scrape something from the bottom of the table to get it. This guy did not look happy. I hope he's all right. Based on what I saw, I think he's at the point of no return.
I've written this down in my notes as non-union David Paymer and sad craft services.
Oh, good. I'm always proud when something that I brought up gets in this. It makes it to the description. So it's
good.
Okay,
yeah.
So everybody.
Hey, I've been that guy. I understand.
Oh, really? You did non-union? You did non-union?
Yeah, of course I did that until I was union. You've done it too.
What?
All of us have done it. You guys never done non-union?
I did it once and got tapped Hartley into the union. So I did it once, and then that's how I got my.
I had to work towards it for a few months before I got in.
I got my SAG card because at the time my dreadlocks were down to my shoulder, and they needed someone quickly with dreadlocks. And so my agent called, and he was like, I know I hate to do this, but would you do extra work? And I was like, no. And he calls me back 5 minutes later, and at the time, the casting person was named Sheila Manning, and he was like, Sheila Manning says if you do this for her, she will tap Hartley you into the union. And I said, okay, so what time do I need to be there tomorrow?
Nice.
And that's how I got my SAG card.
I remember there was this kid I knew. He was like looking for work. He's like, maybe I'll be an extra. I said, yeah, be an extra. I said, you get tons of work because they're always looking for hipsters. He's like, oh, like he's not a hipster. It's like, hey, dude, you live in Brooklyn. You are in a band. You have a beard. You drink Pabst Blue Ribbon. You have a zine. He works crazy. He works. He got all this work as a hipster. And he was in SAG. He got like enough waivers to, here's how it works, kids. You get these waivers.
What was his zine about? Zine is short for magazine, right?
Yeah, it was about like you know what it's about. These
I don't. That's what I'm asking.
No, what is it about?
Brooklyn hipster. It was about like clubs, bars that used to exist in New York. It's what these people. You don't know these people? Hipsters? Are they still?
Well, I don't know Brooklyn hipsters because I don't live in New York. It's different out here.
Yeah.
And nightlife is different out here too.
I'm not in New York like I used to. But it used to be hipsters. They were in Williamsburg. They walked around with the beards. They were skinny.
Our hipsters live in Echo Park.
No, they're in the zine. They had a zine. They had a band. It was all going on. He's moved to LA.
They have the band here, although like some of them do like alternative comedy.
Yes.
They like the beards are still pretty big. There was a phase of like big giant hats,
man buns. I just saw a big giant hat today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man buns.
I think the man bun thing, knock on wood, has been over for a little while now, thankfully.
But yeah, big giant hats. Actually, no, I saw the big giant hat last night because I went to a concert last night with people that we know, and we met at this place in Los Feliz, and there was a guy with the big hat. Because the hipsters all live in Los Feliz.
This is one of the funniest big giant hat stories I've ever had. Is I was at a Fall Out Boy show, and I was in like this area near where the sound booth was because I was there with the record label, so I had like better like standing area. And there was a guy. First of all, the guy was tall and stood directly in front of me, even though there was like plenty of space to like kind of sort of stagger where you're standing. Stood directly in front of me. The guy is way taller than me already and was wearing, I kid you not, a giant Abe Lincoln top hat. Like you're just trying to be an asshole at that moment. What's that, Les?
Did he have Abe Lincoln facial hair?
No, just like super tall top hat at this rock and roll show.
He was peacocking. That's like that woman at the Oscars, right? That's some woman at the Oscars with the big giant.
Yes.
Big giant get up.
I would have been so angry if I was sitting behind her.
I was sitting behind her. I'd read a one-man show about it. My experience sitting behind that woman.
The hat. So Kim is like, it's not my fault. And I'm like, you dummy. Yes, it is your fault. And you took a car.
Yeah. Fully blaming Dan. Like, and look, Dan's a trash bag too, but like, you can't put this all on him being a dick and cheating on you.
Right, because Dan could turn around and say, "You idiot, you stole my mother's car."
There are a lot of unlikable people in this movie.
Everyone,
Yeah.
except for the mean sister.
Yeah.
But there's a character coming up who I think is a little likable.
So then Joey wakes up and he says, "My feet are on fire." Then, so Micah Michelle is doing whatever doctoring she did. Did we know what kind of doctor she was?
We only found out in this moment that she was a doctor because she is talking to a patient or client in an office setting, and she said something about, well, my diagnosis is, and then she was interrupted, Dr. Martha, whatever, you're arrested.
Right.
I like her assistant, too, that confused-looking woman. They probably, to make the moment real, they probably just grabbed that woman, from outside.
From holding?
Look confused. No, just from outside on the street. She was just walking by. They Taft Harley'd her.
Right, probably. So then...
That woman deserves an end.
Oh, but I love as she's being arrested, she's like, "Call my husband, cancel my appointments."
Yeah, she's busy all of a sudden.
Cancel my appointments. No shit.
Hey, that's a blessing in disguise. Is she performing surgery on people, or what's going on?
Well, and I love that her patient was just sitting there smiling as she gets carted off to jail.
Yeah.
She's like, "Cool, I'm out of this one."
The patient is probably there on like court ordered therapy or something.
Right.
And it's like, "Oh, you're getting carted off too? Good, I don't have to do this today."
Like, did this hour count? Towards my hours? So then Kim is at school, and then another one of her asshole friends walks up to her and says, "You're canceled, and I don't want to be canceled adjacent."
That's Lisa.
Oh, the one that took the video.
Yeah.
So people are canceling each other. I never knew canceling was a private practice. I thought canceling was something that they cancel public people. People are just kids are canceling other kids.
Well, this is an adult writer trying to speak like teenagers and not using phrases that teenagers would actually use. Like basically, this girl's like, I don't want to be your friend anymore, but because you hear the term canceled and people, celebrities get canceled for doing heinous things. They're trying to let us know that it happens to us real people too.
Oh, so then Kim is at her wait. So who was at their lawyer? Was it Kim at her lawyer, or was it Michael Michelle?
Michael Michelle and the bartender. The lawyer is telling him basically like, you're responsible for this in the eyes of the law, and then tells him like, we're probably, we may have to plead for like getting some jail time here, and I can work with the judge and maybe get your terms served separately.
Right, just like Teresa on the Real Housewives of New Jersey when she went to jail. Her and her husband went separately.
I've heard of that happening. Dad is a dum-dum and takes no responsibility. That's what I wrote, and he does. He said that he's talking to the lawyer and acting stupid, and she says to them, "You're paying me. I suggest you listen."
Right.
Yeah.
Finally, someone's talking some sense.
Good for her. And. So why was Kim? So was Kim taking pills?
She was going to.
Yeah, she was sad, and she goes in the bathroom. She pours a bunch of pills in her hands, like she's gonna end it all. But then she stops herself.
Oh, Kim.
Because a handful of cranberry supplements is not gonna.
Right. And a handful of vitamin C. So then
it's gonna really help with that UTI, but nothing else.
It will.
Right.
It's true. It will do that.
So then Michael Michelle turns to the bartender that we know and is like, we really shouldn't have had that party. You think? So then Joey, the kid in the wheelchair's parents, filed a civil suit against them. As well they should have.
Yeah.
As well they should have. And then
But again, they should have filed one against Kim too.
Yes. Well, I think that they filed one against the parents because Kim is a minor who has no money, so they went after the parents.
Yeah. Yeah, being that it's a civil, not criminal suit, that makes sense.
So then we find out that the bartender we know got sentenced to 90 days in jail. Well, actually, they both got sentenced to 90 days in jail separately, and they both got a $1,000 fine.
Oh, it was only 90 days? I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 90 days.
Because I was trying to figure out, the timeline of this movie got a little wonky because dad serves jail time, and then the mom does, and we haven't even had Kim's trial yet.
Right. So then Kim is meeting with her lawyer, and her lawyer is like, you're going to have to do all this stuff and community service, and you're going to have to go to AA meetings.
This guy looks like he may be Jack Black's brother. Kind of like, remember how like Patrick Swayze had a brother?
Right.
Kind of looked like Patrick Swayze, you know.
So he's like Zach Black.
And Zach Black is in this movie. And Zach
Frank
Black
Stallone.
is not quite. Zach Black doesn't have the charisma that Jack has.
Right. So then Zach Black is telling Kim, you know, you need to do this is what you need to do, and you need to go to AA meetings. And she's like, I'm not an alcoholic. And it's like, look, you idiot, you got drunk. You took a car that wasn't yours. You hit somebody in a car that wasn't yours. You need to just shut up and go. So, and full disclosure, and I've shared this before, I'm in recovery, so I was judging this scene extra harshly.
I'm as someone that is not in recovery, I'm curious about this sort of outside looking in, the use of AA for things that aren't for people that have an addiction. Because I don't think it was ever even implied that Kim had addiction issues.
Well, so I go to meetings like every day, and so when you go to so in meetings, you have people that come in and they call them court cards, which literally are cards that like they're either like they got a DUI or something to do with alcohol, and they're sentenced to like I'll give it I'll throw it at like 60 days. You got to go to Alcoholics Anonymous for 60 days. So every day that you go to a meeting, you have a card that you need to get signed.
Yeah. I know of the existence of that. I guess I'm asking in the sort of in the sense of how helpful is it to somebody like Kim?
Well,
and is that taking away resources and support from somebody that actually does have addiction issues, and that's why they're in AA?
Well, and I've seen this. I've been sober like almost 14 years. I've seen like. And I would say over half of the people that go in with a court card because, you know, the judge told them to go, during that time, they realize that they do have an issue and stay. I would say it's like 50-50, half of the people in there because...
Yeah, I can see that.
Because think about because there is
I'm speaking more specifically about Kim right now, though, not like the broadness of AA and people that are going to those meetings.
Wouldn't you say also that in this case, and I don't know what you would think of this last with your experience, but even though this was out of the ordinary for her, couldn't this be like the beginning of a path for her? Like this,
what she did,
she was distraught.
Oh, for sure.
This is what she just did. This is how she decided to handle it.
Yeah. Because one of the sayings that shuts people up all the time, and I love using it when people are like, I'm not, I'm too good for this, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, your best thinking got you here.
That's good. Yeah.
Right.
No, and yeah, that angle, I guess I understand it. I do question it being mandated to do something when that may not be the thing that's going to get your life back on track.
And trust me, I see people all the time will come in like that, and like, sometimes you'll have to go around the room and introduce yourselves, and then the person will be like, yeah, I'm here because I blacked out and hit 3 cars, but I'm not an alcoholic. And then everybody laughs at them.
It's supposed to be anonymous, Les. Shouldn't be sharing these stories.
Well, I didn't say who. I didn't say who.
Fair.
Plus, if I had $1 for every story like that I heard, I'd be like richer than Oprah right now.
She's rich.
Right. Exactly. Anyway.
She's got like $1 million.
I know. Oh, so then this next part is totally with Ray, the woman who's like, here's my phone number. That's totally 100% legit.
Yeah, and I knew that
how that happened is totally 100% how it goes on, because a big part of being sober and being in recovery is what you get out of it, you got to give it away. And so like reaching your hand out and giving someone your number, that's common. So that was 100% on point.
And that's the woman I said is the likable character.
Okay, yeah. What did you think of Kim's outfit in this scene?
I was trying to figure it out.
She's wearing a white hoodie.
Oh, that's right. She was wearing a white hoodie. What was it?
Gray.
Oh, it's gray.
It's gray.
Well, whatever it was, it wasn't a black hoodie. It was very decidedly the opposite of that.
Well,
she was trying to be incognito in a way, but not in a nefarious way.
Right. And that actually is also on point. People do come in like trying to be incognito and stuff.
Absolutely.
Right.
Which it's like, okay, if you're here and I'm here and I know you, we're here for the same reason. I've had that conversation before. Yeah. Oh, so I love this woman. I do like this woman because Kim is talking to her like they meet for coffee, and then Kim is like bitching, and the woman's like, you are entitled, and you have to accept what you did. You didn't ruin your life, so get over it. You can like turn things around, and yeah. And
you're on a new path.
And then Kim's like, I'm not an alcoholic. And then Ray's like, well, that's not the point. Even though you say you're not an alcoholic, why did you have to numb yourself? And she was like, and shut her up.
Mm-hmm. She also tries to volunteer at the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and the woman's like, she gets called out. Yeah. And says, you're just here because your lawyer told you to.
Right. Which
that's no way to get help.
That's like on that woman's part, that's when it's like, you're not supposed to say that either. Judgy McJudgerson.
Mm-hmm. She's got all these brochures she's got to fold. Just let her in, start folding stuff.
Right. Because you're not folding them. Someone's got to do it.
By the way, they have machines that do that. When you get them printed, they have machines that will fold the fucking things for you.
Oh, I haven't worked in an office in years. Oh, okay. So this next part. So Michael Michelle is visiting the bartender we know in jail, and he's making it sound like he's at like a spa or something. It's not so bad. I've been working out, reading, dating. No, he didn't say
he's dating. But he said the food's not too good, though.
Right. It's like, dude, you're in jail.
Dating.
Stop trying to make it sound like you're at Club Med or something. Oh, so then they're talking about their lawsuit, and Martha's like, because they were countersuing the people for the civil suit, right?
I think he suggested that maybe. And she's like, no, we're settling. We're agreeing to this. It's the right thing to do. And he's kind of fighting her on it.
Yeah, it's the right thing to do. It's our fault. And he was like, no. And she basically said, we're either going to settle or you're going to have to find what. Oh, she's like, you're going to settle or one of us is going to have to find a new place to live.
Yeah.
Which basically meant you're going to have to find a new place to live. Mm-hmm. When you get out of the big house. So then Joey comes home from the hospital. They wheel him in his wheelchair. And there's a surprise party for him. So then this is where his girlfriend basically agrees to throw her life away and her future so that she could stay with him.
The teenage girls in this movie are very much like old school Hallmark heroines. Like they're ready to give up their own hopes and dreams and a heartbeat for a man.
Because Hallmark heroines aren't even like that anymore.
Yeah.
No, this is where they went.
So then this is the part where I thought that Joey was an asshole. I wouldn't even say the F word. This is the part though that made me hate Joey. So the guy who is old, the old looking teenager shows up and he shows up at the party. He brings flowers. And then Joey goes off about how you didn't come to apologize, which, yeah, the old-looking teenager is an ass, but I thought the fact that that he showed up at the party and brought him flowers was his way of leading up to an apology.
I disagree with you. I don't know that he owed Joey he owed Joey an apology for not visiting him in the hospital. Like they were close friends by all accounts, and Dan never once went to the hospital to visit Joey.
Right. Which is true.
Even Kim, who felt responsible for this, she tried to visit him, you know?
Right. But then again, maybe he had trauma around, you know what I mean? Maybe he had
you were given this a-hole entitled kid too much of a pass.
True, because I do hate him and everybody else except for the disgruntled sister and the AA sponsor. So you're right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the AA sponsors are.
Oh, so
this was a surprise party. Oh, did I give it away?
What?
I said it was a surprise party. I was afraid I gave it away.
It's a surprise that people are still watching the movie at this point.
They've already said it was a surprise party. I don't know. So
they're at family dinner, and then Michael Michelle got pissed, right? And then didn't who said they're ruining the so the old looking teenager, the disgruntled sister, and Michael Michelle are having dinner. And so the old looking teenager is yelling at his mom, telling her that she ruined his family, and this is when you grab him by the collar and say, listen, you little dick.
Oh, yeah? I just realized what I remembered her name from. You keep saying Michael Michelle. I keep thinking, I heard that name before. I heard the name. No, I'm thinking of Nicole Nichols.
Oh. So
anyway.
So the kid's just being the old looking teenager is like being an asshole. Meanwhile, Kim wrote a letter, like an apology letter, and then the annoying girlfriend lets Kim know that Joey wants to see her. And then I wrote, Kim is having a very good hair day.
Yeah, it's probably the day she got out of the hospital.
Right. So then the dad, meanwhile, the bartender that we know, gets out of jail. And then Kim is meeting Joey. Joey says that he's actually got a full scholarship.
No, wait a minute. When the dad gets home from jail, who gave him a ride? Was that a rideshare service? Because his wife didn't pick him up.
Well,
it looked like she was going to jail next. It looked like but it wasn't a police. It was not a police car. Like he showed up and he was
a
getting out of the
lawyer.
car and she was going to get in the car, and that was going to take her to jail.
Maybe the jail was in a different town where they did have Uber.
maybe since Michael Michelle's car was in that accident, her replacement car was a self-driving Tesla, and that picked him up and dropped him off.
That makes sense.
So, so then, Joey. So Joey is telling Kim he got a scholarship. He's going to tech. He said, and she's like, "Wow, you've changed." And he's like, I was the funny guy, but now I'm, going to take my life seriously. He forgives her. And then she says, well, I need to make amends, which is definitely recovery, because that's one of the steps is you make amends for things that you've done wrong. So she's doing her steps, which I guess which implied to me that she did stick around. So then she's wearing a very sensible suit. Very sensible.
Well, she's going
to
court.
I wrote, I wonder if Blac Chyna wore a suit like that one day when she was going to court. Because it was like a pantsuit. So then they're at the courthouse. The old-looking teenager shows up to support her. Then the annoying girlfriend and Joey show up to support Kim as well. And they actually even they vouched for her. So then Kim reads a letter of apology, and then the judge looks very nice, and she looks like she's going to be very nice. And then she goes, I'm going to throw the book at you. And she gave Kim a year in jail, a $2,000 fine, 5 years probation, and was it 500 or 5,000 hours of community service?
I think it was 500, but she wasn't trying to be vindictive about it. She said that was the minimum sentence.
Well,
Kim, after school special for parents.
Right.
Yes.
A year in
That's
jail.
What you're gonna get.
And then they showed a clip of Kim in jail in her orange jumpsuit, but her hair was had a really good jail hair day. Because the hair was on point.
There was probably
and I guess she got out for good behavior, because 8 months later, she was released from jail wearing a very ugly pair of sweats.
Are there hairdressers in jail? You can get your hair done.
Other inmates.
Okay.
But I don't know how you would they're probably not letting them have brushes and combs to keep for themselves.
Well, in Orange is the New Black, Laverne Cox was the beautician. She was an inmate, but she had a little beauty cell.
Yeah.
She had a beauty cell.
And she would do their hair.
Okay.
And then I was watching, what was I watching? I was watching some documentary on A&E or something, and they were saying how the women were saying what they did to makeup to create makeup. So they would take Kool-Aid and make that eyeliner and blush.
Okay. I was an extra on Orange is the New Black.
Were you in jail?
No.
Oh, so then we're at a MAD conference, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And Michael Michelle and Kim are doing a two-hander. They both have microphones, and they're switching off, and they're drunk driving is bad. Don't be like us, or you're at butts going to jail too.
I like that they both had microphones, and there were only 8 people at this thing that they were speaking at. They did not need microphones.
No. And they're even though we went through all this, our characters did not change, and we are not better people at the end of this. We're just as assholey as we were at the beginning of this movie.
And that daughter is there. The angry daughter has to sit there and listen to this.
She's probably there smirking, going, ha ha ha, I was the only one that didn't end up in jail. See what happened, you misogynist pigs?
The end.
The end.
That's all.
Ugh.
That's quite a
And
movie.
normally, at this point, after talking about the movie, I found something that's like cheered me up and I'm less angry. I'm still angry. I'm even angrier now finishing this
Same.
podcast.
Oh, man. Why were you angry? Was it because of the recovery element, how they handled that?
No, I was just angry because these were all like despicable people. All of them. Except for the AA sponsor and the sister. Everybody else, they were all pretty despicable. And they didn't become any nicer.
Yeah. Well, a Lifetime movie is probably not the place to be preaching, but I understand if you want to have there could be cautionary tales told to kids, but you got to tell some adult not to have a party where you're serving alcohol. I mean, these people are dumb on the dumb scale, and no movie or anything else is going to help them. It's over. And
I was mad at myself for getting sucked into the title because I thought that this movie was going to be like a good old-fashioned Lifetime. We're going to be up to shenanigans and no good. And yes, there'll be a lesson. Well, it wasn't good. But it'll be like our Lifetime shenanigans, messy. And it was not.
I did not think that at all. When it's and 17, with drunk and driving and 17 on the title, I'm like, there's gonna be a bit of a. This is not gonna be the fun ride that we think it's gonna be.
Now I know.
This was like an educational film. We'd have to watch in health class during that winter stretch where you just have health class.
So now to clear my palate, I need to watch something on Hallmark with a Prince or Twins.
Don't make us watch a fucking Prince movie. I hate those so much. I'm putting my foot down this week. Twins, maybe.
Okay.
Twins.
And actually, I have Philo now, so I get Hallmark in real time again.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll check to see what's up this weekend because I now get Hallmark in real time, so I can pick a real time.
What travel log are they showing this week?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm still thinking about the Maldives, and that movie was pretty dumb too, but it really sold me on the Maldives.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, dumb, but they didn't take themselves seriously. Like this movie actually took itself kind of seriously.
Right.
And that's...
Well, and that movie had like likable people. Like it had redeeming qualities.
Yeah, the people weren't as dumb in that movie.
I'm Googling Hallmark movies this weekend.
Okay.
Let's see. Boom. Let's see. Oh, a pinch. Whoa. It is another travel movie.
Okay. Where are they going now?
A Pinch of Portugal.
Ooh.
A Pinch of Portugal. Oh, those sexy Latin men? Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Portuguese
I wish we could go to
men
this
are
place.
hot.
Yeah.
Wait, let's see. So, I like this. So, Saturday, April 22nd. Let's see. God, I didn't realize Golden Girls comes on so much.
Yeah.
I think it is Portugal. Reba, Golden Girls. Okay, so A Pinch of Portugal. So let's watch that.
All right.
A celebrity. So when a celebrity chef walks off his show, prep cook Anna must step into the spotlight and make the show her own with the help of her Aussie cameraman and Portuguese location scout. Ooh, and he's Australian too. Sold. Boom. So we're going to Portugal this weekend, everyone.
Okay.
And if you want to get a hold of me in the meantime, you can find me on my website, letscrookedallbarrett.com, or on Instagram at Kirkendall. And we have some listeners in other countries. So if you happen to be a listener in the Czech Republic in Prague, I'm going to be taking my show, The Real Black Swan, Confessions of America's First Black Drag Queen, to the Prague Fringe Festival in the last week of May. Jason.
Please rate and review us wherever you listen to your podcast. Give us 5 stars or whatever the highest rating is on that podcast platform. It helps more people find us. You can find all of us on Instagram and Facebook at Lifetime of Hallmark Podcast. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
Oh, my show, The Jester of All Maladies, is going to be at Indie Fringe. Last weekend of Indie Fringe. I think it's like maybe the end of August, around there. And if all goes well, I might have a show in the Philadelphia Fringe Festival as well, but that's not going to be till September.
Philadelphia.
And that's it. I'll update things. I have a website, but I haven't updated it in a while. It is kurtfitzpatrick.com, but I'll have to put some new stuff up there.
Well, great. And
and we are so sorry that we even had to make you listen to this podcast about this movie.
I unlike
Who's our friend?
people in this movie, I take full responsibility for my actions. So I apologize to the listeners.
Who's our friend who's working out?
Jaquetta.
Yeah.
Jaquetta. I'm sorry, Jaquetta.
I am too.
She's probably slid off her treadmill.
Probably. She probably fell asleep because this movie was so boring. Anyway, well, that's it. So I'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.